always.
So where did your dad hide when all the women were over for the bridge meet?
My dad?
Yeah.
He made sure he had shift work.
Oh, I see.
No, but they would play bridge then.
Well, there must have been the odd time, though, that he...
No, he had Courtney Green, the guy who bought his Vanguard. They were good friends. My dad would go and visit.
Oh, you'd go over
Him
there.
and Courtney would watch hockey games, and they would complain about Air Canada and Trans Canada Airlines and McGregor, and they were good at it, right?
Who's McGregor?
Oh, McGregor was the executive vice president of Air Canada for many years. He signed all the checks.
Oh.
Right? Oh, yeah, they hated McGregor. They would just carry on all the time. Even I knew that. And they signed the
This
check.
was back in the 60s?
Yeah, this in the 60s. You look up McGregor. That was just after C.D. Howe, right? The what they call the minister of everything during the Second World War.
Yeah.
Right? Then it was McGregor, because it was still a government airline. And the employees, of course, they're all complaining, like in the military, "Oh, you shouldn't have done this, and buying the Viscount, not the Vanguard, what a stupid mistake." And they tried to re-engine the North Stars. Oh, they had lots to pick on. Lots and lots of it. Government airline, right? And they all drew their paychecks from that. They could run the airline twice as good. So, yep, they spent lots of times complaining about that.
How was Air Canada's reputation back in the 60s?
The only airline. You talk about CP Air, it barely existed. CP Air got left over. After they cleaned the tanks in the North Star, they got what was left.
Really?
Yeah, they had very little. When they were legislated against, and Air Canada or TCA, they got the best pickings. Because it was a government airline. It was representing Canada. It didn't have to make a profit. That wasn't what it was about. It was about to represent. It was open to everybody. It was affordable.
And how were they as far as other international carriers? Like
they were right up there. We had the best aircraft.
KLM.
Some would debate that. Because we had British aircraft. Well, they weren't the best, but we hobbled along until the British fell off the game, right? We never had comets, thank God, so we didn't crash anything. But we had the North Stars, which was a Merlin aircraft, and it was good in its day, but it took a long time to make that a worthwhile airplane. It was a DC-4 with the wrong engines.
So your dad would go, when your mother had the bridge, she had the house full of ladies playing bridge. How was this just a wintertime activity?
Yeah, it stopped in the summer, of course. And
yeah.
people were on vacation, and that didn't happen, right?
Yeah. But so, going now to your dad, hockey. Your dad, he liked his hockey.
Yeah.
In his,
but he didn't play hockey.
No, but he liked it.
Yeah. No,
Who was he, a Montreal or Toronto fan?
Important. He was a real Canadian when he came. He could care less about baseball or basketball, none of that. But hockey, he knew everybody, every player. I got cards upstairs and all that kind of stuff.
Oh, you still have hockey cards?
When he was young, before the NHL was formed.
You still have hockey cards?
Yeah, I don't know where they are now. But
wow.
I open my big mouth up and then I go, I probably can't find them.
Yeah.
Right, but the early hockey, before it was the NHL, my dad knew all those leagues and all the people that played in them. And when he was a young man, of course, he collected hockey cards, did all that.
Well, the NHL goes back before your dad.
Yeah, no, but still, when he was young, don't forget, 1922. So
it had a sort of choppy with the wars and stuff, kind of. Yeah. But after the war,
no, when he was 10 years old, it was 1932. So that was part. And he had some clippings from the Star Weekly. Right, and some of the hockey players, he had cut those out.
Wow, so that he was...
No, he was died in heart. And I could care less. And I didn't drink, and he drank, and so we had lots of things that we didn't share in common, right?
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, so your dad, we had talked the other day, or the last time, about the models and stuff while your dad made that airplane.
He made 2 models, yeah. My dad did 3 things in his life that I remember, right? And that was to make that wind vane. He called it the wind vane. I didn't. I called it the Sikorsky. That's what I thought of it as, right? And then my father made a balsa model from scratch of a mosquito, right? And then my father did a kite for me, and that was it. My mother would harp on him, and you should have a project, and you should do this, you should do that. No, that wasn't my father's way at all. In some ways, he wouldn't. I never went fishing with my father. My mother, I remember them having arguments. And the only thing I liked about it is they were arguing over me, but I didn't really want to go fishing, but I was glad they were arguing about it. It felt important then.